Hey y'all, today we are going to have another round of triple digit temperatures. I'm sure you're just shocked. So I am inside today and I wanted to talk to you guys about a new order I just placed through Bluestone Perennials. So these are perennials that are going to be arriving at the end of September, beginning of October, and I'm excited to show you what I ordered. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up, and make sure you drop me a comment below. Are you planning for the fall? I absolutely am planning for the fall. I am wishing these triple digit temperatures away as best as I can. And so yes, I have started ordering for the fall, started making plans on a couple of garden designs I plan on changing out in the fall, and I'm ready for these lower temps. Okay, so Bluestone Perennials is a new to me company. I've never utilized them before. However, they have been in business, it says since 1972. Which obviously that's 50 years this year, which is very exciting for them. And basically they have about 5 acres and they grow thousands and thousands of varieties of plants. They focus mainly on perennials. And so I was checking them out and I saw a lot of amazing reviews for Bluestone Perennials, which that's always the number one thing I'm looking for when I'm ordering plants, and especially ordering plants like perennials, right? I want to make sure that I'm getting a really good quality. I want to make sure I'm getting a price I feel comfortable with. So that's kind of really my more my concentration when I'm looking at perennials. And so after I've seen several gardeners I know order from Bluestone Perennials, and so I thought, what the heck, let me try this out and get this started and see what the possibilities are. Their website is super easy to use. Basically, I went in and I put in a certain amount of criteria on the filters when I was looking. First of all, I did zone 8. For obvious reasons, I live in zone 8. I put in perennials, and then I also focus on good for cut flowers. And so those were my main focuses, and looking at everything and kind of figuring out what I liked. I also did a focus on flowers that bloom in the fall. That's really something I'm interested in because I don't have a wide variety of blooms that bloom in the fall. So I wanted to, punch up that color in the fall time. It would be nice to receive them at the end of September and allow them, the next couple of months to grow and bloom and be beautiful before our first frost sets in. Now, one of the things I liked about Bluestone Perennials is they're not sending me my perennials right this moment, because we all know they would die. It's too hot. So they're going to send them at the end of September, beginning of October, which is a great time when our temps are just starting to get out of, they're actually still in the 90s, but they're the low 90s. And so it's a good time to start working on perennials. That's typically when I would be planting perennials, prepping for the next growing season. Okay, so let's talk about the plants that I ended up ordering. Now, you guys know my style of gardening. I like a kind of the cottage feel, wild, a little uncontrolled. I definitely like that look. I was looking for perennials. I was looking for something that's a little bit different. Some of these plants are going to be going into the raised beds. Some of these plants are going to be worked into a new portion that I'm re-landscaping on the side of the house. And then some of these are going to be worked into in-ground beds in the backyard. So they're all going in multiple places. I'm not going to tell you where they're all going at this point in time. I'm just going to start off and talk to you about the different varieties I got. So the first variety I ordered is called VERBASCUM Southern Charm, and I'll put up some photos for you guys to be able to see what it looks like. It was $14.95, and it is a small container. It's 3.5 by 4 inches. So it's not giant, but that's okay. It's being shipped. So it makes total sense. So $14.95 each. And if you buy 3+, they discount it to $14.50. A little bit about the VERBASCUM. It says it is a perennial. It's about 3 feet high. It blooms late spring to midsummer. It requires full sun, and that is something that I put in my filters. I did require full sun on all of them because Texas. And it's excellent for cut flowers. It describes it as a range of delicate pastels with shades of rose to ivory. A red star highlights the blossom center. Loves sun, needs no tending, which ding, 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 that sounds great to me. Hundreds of flowers per plant. That was a key thing. Hundreds of flowers per plant. I'm all for that. I understand that it's going to take a couple of seasons to get to that point, but I really, really like that. I was very excited about it. Drought tolerant once established. So it's definitely looking through all these things to see what worked best in my area and with the my growing conditions. All right, so excited about that one. Okay, the next one I selected is a salvia, and it's called WINDWALKER Royal Red. And these are $17.95 each. And it's the same size, that 3.5 by 4. So yes, it's very expensive for a small plant. However, I selected varieties that I can't find here. That was the goal. I wanted varieties that I can't find locally, all right? It is a perennial, approximately 4 feet tall. It blooms midsummer to mid-fall. It prefers full sun to mostly sunny. It is excellent as a cut flower. It says it's majestic not only for its size, 4 feet tall by 4 feet wide, but this robust grower also satisfies the quest for a true red perennial. Graceful arching stems crowned with ruby red flowers from late June through fall. Shear back to 6 to 8 inches in June, and flower height will reduce to 2 to 3 feet. Sounds good. I'm excited about that. I like the look of it. I like the red. I also like all the information Bluestone Perennials provides on their website. One of the things is they talk about dividing the perennials, which I think is really great because they could say nothing and we could buy plant after plant after plant, right? I could go in and buy 4 of these plants, you know? But instead they're telling me that in 2 to 5 years, I can go ahead and divide out these perennials, which was actually really key to me, someone who's on a budget. I don't have tons of money to throw at flowers, even though I would like to. And so it's kind of interesting to me that they wrote on here, and they've done it almost all of them. They talk to you about when you can divide them and create multiple plants from one, which I think is fabulous. Okay, so you guys know I'm terrible at pronunciation, so I'm going to butcher this next one. PHYSOSTEGIA, summer snow, and it is an obedient plant or a false dragon head. I've always wanted an obedient plant. I know a lot of people cringe when they hear that because they do spread. I'm cool with it spreading. I'm willing to do the work to keep it in check. So I am kind of looking forward to that. It's a perennial. It's 3 feet tall. It blooms late summer to early fall, requires full sun. Let's see. It says it will take any space you give it. So that's super important. So this particular plant is going to be planted in a large planter. Okay, so I did want to make sure that I pointed that out to you guys. So yes, this one can run rampant and take over. So it's going to be planted in a large planter, not in the ground and not in a raised bed. And I am hoping that it fills in the planter beautifully. I would really, really enjoy that. It says the white flowers of this plant sparkle. Why is it called an obedient plant? When flower spikes are in full bloom, you can push the snapdragon-like flowers to hold any position you fancy to give them. Very helpful when in an arrangement, which is very exciting to me. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. It's also really great dried. It says it's beautiful for dried arrangements. This one was $11.95 each. Every time you buy 3 or more, they give you a little bit of a discount, 50-cent discount on this. So that's something to note as well. Okay, so the next is a variety of phlox. It's a phlox paniculata red riding hood garden phlox. They are $15.95 each. This one is a perennial. It's about 20 inches high. It blooms in late summer to early fall, takes on full sun. It's really great for a cut flower. I'm sure you guys aren't surprised, most phlox are. The height's a pretty good height, not super tall, but still really, really pretty. It's a cherry red, strong grower with huge fragrant flower heads on more compact, bushier plants. One of the best phlox reds, a dramatic display in a perennial border or lovely arranged in a beautiful vase. So love that too. They do talk about dividing the phlox as well. And gives you a lot of information. It talks about avoiding mildew. It talks about, dividing. It talks about mulching. It talks a ton of different things, which is really fascinating that give you this much information in one location on their website, which is wonderful. Okay, the next plant I ordered is an oldie but a goodie, but I've never grown it. Probably most of y'all have, but it is like the king of all phlox, and that is the phlox paniculata David. And if anybody's grown David phlox, you know that it is a prolific grower, absolutely beautiful. Hummingbirds, pollinators love it, and it is lush, bold, and giant in the garden. It is a perennial. Well, let me tell you actually. I paid $17.95 for it. It is a perennial and it is 2 to 4 feet tall. It blooms late summer to early fall. It takes full sun. It's great for a cut flower as well. And it said it's the 2002 Perennial Plant Association's Plant of the Year, sparkling white giant flowering clusters. Phlox David is very fragrant with light green mildew resistant foliage, which is wonderful. Best white we've ever seen. As a staple for the perennial garden, it mixes well and continues to provide long summer color. So that's awesome. Very excited about that one. Once again, it gives a lot of information about care, what you should be doing with it if you have any issues with a couple of different diseases, which is fabulous too. Okay, the next one I ordered might come as a surprise to you guys. I ordered a LEUCANTHEMUM Real Gold Cup. So a LEUCANTHEMUM is a Shasta daisy. It's part of the Shasta daisy series. I don't like Shasta daisies, and if you've watched my videos for any amount of time, you probably know this. However, I was super intrigued by this one, and I thought maybe just my last 3 times I've tried Shasta daisies, maybe I've bought the wrong variety. Maybe I needed to hand select it. In the past with my Shasta daisies, I just bought what was at a nursery. They weren't labeled. I knew nothing about them, you know. So maybe the problem is I needed to select a very specific variety that fit my needs. So I ended up going with this LEUCANTHEMUM Real Gold Cup series or blooms. It is a perennial. It's 36 inches tall. That's what I want out of a Shasta daisy. I want a tall, long Shasta daisy stem that I can utilize. It blooms late spring to late summer. It prefers full sun to mostly sunny locations. Obviously great for cut flowers. It is a layered skirt of bright yellow petals encircles large golden eyes. Color fast sunny yellow flowers brighten cloudy days. Gather cheerful bouquets to bring smiles to loved ones, neighbors, and friends. Plenty will remain to enjoy during your garden strolls. Okay, first off, whoever writes this stuff for Bluestone Perennials, good job. Really draws me in. I am one of the people who reads all the information, so I love the frilly, beautiful descriptions. I think it's great, especially when they're whimsical. That really speaks to my gardening style. So very excited about trying these out. This one also talks about the location you want to put it in. It talks about feeding. It talks about removing deadheading along the way. And then once again, it also talks about dividing. And like I said, I'm just really surprised that a company would talk about dividing plants, because that technically takes away from their business a little bit, right? You know, most people are probably just going, if they want 3, go ahead and buy 3. I'm a little cheaper, and so I bought 1, and then in a couple of years, I'll divide it out. But you know, everybody's different. I'm just surprised that they would direct you to do that, knowing that that might cut back in their sales. So props to Bluestone Perennials. Okay, I'm gonna take a mid-break. We're halfway through the list I got. I did wanna show you guys this new compote dish bowl, footed bowl that I got from the thrift store yesterday. It was $7.98, but it was 30% off. It did say it's called the main ingredients made in China, dishwasher, microwave, and oven safe, which is very cool. I bought it because it's a classic white dish, and I thought it would be really great to arrange in it. And in the meantime, I'll store apples in it. Okay, the next variety of plant I ordered is called BOLTONIA SNOWBANK, and it's also named 1,000-flower aster, false aster, starwort, or some of the other names for it. I paid $12.95 for the plant. It is a perennial. It is 4 to 5 feet tall. It blooms late summer to late fall, full sun to mostly sunny, excellent for a cut flower. Masses of star-like white flowers with yellow centers atop sturdy plants beginning in late summer and continuing until even after frost. Commonly called false aster, BOLTONIA SNOWBANK is a blanket of color above upright mounds of lance-shaped grayish-green leaves on branching stems. One plant makes a good show, and a row of them will be used as a flowering hedge, one of our favorites. Especially when a company like Bluestone Perennial puts one of our favorites, I gotta have that one. So this one looked like a pretty bold plant. 4 to 5 feet tall. I might work this into a raised garden, one of the raised beds, but I also might work it into one of the areas against the house in the back. I think might be really nice. I'm kind of been rethinking those areas, and so I might work a plant like this in there to see how it looks. 4 to 5 feet tall. I definitely want to work it towards the back of a garden. I will say this one also says it's low maintenance and problem free. Excellent. That's what I want to hear in a plant. Okay, so I haven't grown a lot of asters in my garden. I've grown the giant China asters, which I think are absolutely beautiful, but I wanted to do more perennial-esque asters. And so this one I ordered is called ASTER FRUKARTI, and also known as Wonder of Staffa and Monk Aster. I paid $15.95 for it. It is a perennial. It's about 3 feet tall, early summer to early fall, full sun, mostly sunny. It is a lavender kind of blue color, which I think is really, really fun. Excellent for cut flowers. It's an unusual plant, rapidly develops into an airy mound of broad as it is tall, as much as 3 by 3 in rich soil, covered with lavender and blue daisy flowers with yellow centers from July until a hard freeze. One of the best asters for superb color and form. A classic for good reason. It says this one is also really a good summer aster, blooming until a hard freeze. Supports a lot of bees and butterflies. Excellent. It can pinch back and divide like mums for best results. General rule of thumb is to pinch until 4th of July and not after. Pinching yields better branching and more flowers. Excellent. I can't wait to try an aster. Now I ordered an additional aster. This one is called ASTER Crimson Brocade, also known as Michaelmas Daisy. It is a perennial. It is 30 to 36 inches tall. It blooms early fall to late fall, full sun to mostly sunny. Excellent for good cut flowers, or good for cut flowers. It is a lustrous magenta red flowers with cheery yellow center. The clusters of semi-double crimson flowers are produced at the tips of branching stems, creating a stunning display against dark green foliage. ASTER Crimson Brocade gives splendid autumn color in your perennial garden, pairs nicely with grasses. Buffy was getting a drink over there. It does say the richer the soil, the taller the plant. So that's something for me to really think about, adding compost to that particular area when I'm planting these. I'm excited to see this one as well. Okay, and the last aster that I ordered is ASTER BLUEBIRD, also known as a Michaelmas Daisy. This one is a perennial, 4 feet tall, blooms late summer to late fall, full sun to mostly sunny, excellent for cut flowers. The ASTER BLUEBIRD provides sky at dusk blue flower clusters in a profusion atop vase-shaped plants. Trouble-free foliage, end of season flowering for northern gardens, superb in warmer areas, which sounds awesome. Very excited about this one as well. This one follows all the same rules as mums, so pinching them back and that sort of thing. Very excited about the color. A lot of these are colors that I don't have in my garden. There's a lot of focus on reds and purples and whites. And that's a lot of what I want to add to my garden because I seem to be pretty heavy on magentas, fuchsias, oranges, like that kind of feel. Okay, only 2 more plants to go. The next one I ordered is called Anemone Whirlwind. It's a Japanese anemone windflower, and it is a perennial. It's approximately 36 inches tall. Early fall, it blooms early fall to late fall, full sun, half shade, which is interesting. I might end up tucking this into a different area. We'll have to see. Excellent for cut flowers as well. They're known as easy to grow. Mature plants will spread to fill in. Leaves will blacken in the winter, so you may want to cut back in the fall. Transplant is best done in the spring. A lot of great information on this. Elegant, ruffled, semi-double white petals surrounding frilly yellow centers. 2-inch flowers adorn tall stems above an attractive mound of rich dark green leaves. Whirlwind is one of the most stunning plants in the fall garden. It lives up to its name with petals that look as if they have been tousled by the breeze. Way to go, whoever the writer is. I mean, I just have to have it. I paid $14.95 for this particular plant. I'm very excited to see how it is. I know that Japanese anemones can be invasive. I'm very aware of this. So I will be really paying attention to this. I'll have to be on top of it and make sure that it doesn't spread too much. And if it does spread, I need to be willing to dig up those portions. Okay, and the last plant that I ordered is another anemone, and it's Anemone Fantasy Jasmine, and it is a Japanese anemone. I paid $17.95 for it. It is a perennial, and it is a shorter perennial, which I know y'all are surprised about a shorter one. 14 to 20 inches tall, blooms midsummer to early fall, full sun to half shade. Good for cut flowers, easy to grow. It is going to spread and fill in. Excellent border plant. Colorful front of the border impact as this cutie displays exuberant midsummer to fall, dark pink single flowers. Stronger prolific flowering, yet anemone jasmine fashionably struts a tidy habit with more polite garden manners than vigorously spreading classics. So it's a polite plant. So it's not going to spread as much. It has an upright uniform habit with large single type flowers on branchy stems, easy for fresh bouquets. Its smaller stature works well in container gardens too. Just then, when summer flowering plants are finishing, Japanese anemones step in to fill the change of seasons with armloads of blooms. Love that. That's definitely an area that's missing in my garden, that from the heat of the summer into the fall, there's a lag in there. So I would really love plants like this one, the asters and the anemones, to fill in that space for me. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video going over my order from Bluestone Perennials. If you have had any kind of interaction with Bluestone Perennials, I would love for you to drop information below. Tell me about your experience. I will be very excited to show you guys these plants when they show up in September. Beginning of October. I did want to point out that I was able to find a 10% off coupon online, so you might want to Google that and look that up, because that was really nice and it knocked a little bit off of each of the plants. I did pay for shipping. It was $25 something for shipping, and then I also paid tax, of course. And so it'll be really interesting to see how all these are shipped, and I'll definitely do like an unboxing for you guys when all of these arrive. But I wanted to let you know that this is what I was ordering now. I am planning now for the fall. So I didn't want to wait until September or October and start ordering then and not have my choice, right? Because these are all pre-orders for the fall. So very, very exciting. I do have another order that is going to be going into Bluestone Perennials that is going to be all for chrysanthemums, heirloom chrysanthemums that I'm going to be pre-ordering for the spring. So I'll look forward to showing you guys that order soon. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.